so enough to bog the phone down, but not to completely cripple it. Anyways, starting with Snapchat, we're just going to run quick Snapchat. Of course, everyone does that on a day-to-day basis, going in Instagram, checking some posts, taking a picture with your camera, which for some reason hesitated on the Note 8, and then jumping into Maps to get some quick directions, and then into Photoshop Express to edit an 8K image, which does take a little bit longer than an average picture you're going to take with your device. So jumping into Minecraft has a slower animation when loading up on the Note 8, and both of these, as you can see, are unoptimized for the displays. They're cropped. The Minecraft on the Note 8 kind of glitched for some reason. And then moving on to Mario Run, which is also unoptimized for that massive Galaxy Note 8 display. Now, both of these devices do have on-screen virtual home buttons, so that kind of complicates this test as I have to keep sliding them up in order to make them available. I wish there was a setting just to keep it on there permanently, but iPhone's already on Netflix, getting into the online apps before jumping into Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the heaviest application I'll be running on here. So the Galaxy Note 8 at this point in time is keeping up. It's at pace with the iPhone 10. The animations are quick. It loads the heavier apps pretty quick, but the iPhone 10 starts pulling off while it's loading Grand Theft Auto. For whatever reason, it really hesitated on this one, and the iPhone 10 is already on Amazon as it finishes up Grand Theft Auto on the Note 8. Galaxy Note 8 just now gets into the Poker app while the iPhone 10 is already on SoundCloud, and it's just powering through these. And these are, of course, connected to the same Wi-Fi network, so one doesn't get the advantage of LTE over the other or anything like that. Now, the iPhone 10 is already on the last test, which is a 4K 1 minute and 30-second video I use standardly for these tests. It is a struggle for both devices. The iPhone 10 is particularly slow, I think slower than my iPhone 7 Plus even at compiling it. But finally, the Galaxy Note 8 does catch up, and I did have to fast forward on this part just a little bit just because of how long it takes for both of these. 4K, most people won't be editing this on their phones, but it gives me a good challenge or show of power on these devices. So the iPhone 10 finishes with a score of 2 minutes and 47 seconds for round one, which is honestly not that great. And I've noticed that the iPhone 10 isn't as fast to respond as my iPhone 8 Plus, mostly because of the new animations. It just feels slow. A lot of the apps aren't fully optimized, but going back into the applications, a lot of the first ones had to be reloaded. Minecraft, Photoshop, those applications just got reset when editing the 4K video. That 3 gigabytes of RAM just wasn't enough for it. But if you really think about it, how often do we edit 4K video, do something so intensive that it resets a lot of the older applications in our place in them? But anyways, it's on Mario Run right now while the Galaxy Note 8 is still compiling that 4K video. It is pretty dang slow with it. It really needs an update to the processor, Snapdragon 845 eventually. Hopefully that'll put it more on an even plane with the iPhone 10. So Netflix and all apps after it were remembered. It was Asphalt and before those heavier applications that iOS decided to clear the cache on in order to make room for editing that 4K video, but everything else was remembered. So finished with a pretty great score of 1 minute and 5 seconds for round two. Now the Galaxy Note 8 remembered everything. It has double the RAM, 6 gigabytes, so all of those applications were saved in the cache, and it needed to do 0 reloading as everything was already there. And that includes the heavier applications too. So I was pretty impressed with that, but even in the first test I ran with the Galaxy Note 8, it did do this successfully. So if you guys are a multitasking powerhouse, you need that multitasking capability, the Note 8 has been the best phone I've ever tested for it. It always remembers what it was doing in the app switcher. So it finishes with a super quick 38-second round. To the more technical stuff with some numbers, with benchmarks, I'm going to start with a Geekbench, and here are those results. Over double the single core score. Multi-core score is beastly, over 10,000 on this guy. Just super impressed with this all around. So